Kuf Lamed Tesla mit Beis. Oif Tommy Potem L'Shalech. Zogt the Gemara Minani Mili. How do you know that if it's a non-kosher bird, you potter from sending it off Shidduch HaKan? Amar Mitzvah Doma Kroki Korei Kan Tzipor Lefonecha. It says the word Tzipor. Oif. The word Oif is Mashmalan Bein Tohar Bein Tomei. Both kosher and non-kosher species. Tzipor, Tohar, Tzipor, Tohar, Ashkechan, the Ikri Tzipor, we find that Tohar is called Tzipor. Tomei Loi Ashkechan, the Ikri Tzipor. So basically, what I'm saying, the word Tzipor only refers to kosher birds. Now the Gemara is going to bring a bunch of different sukkim to try to prove that back and forth. Tashma. Tavnis called Tzipor Kanaf. The pasuk says by when you're not supposed to be over with desire, you're not supposed to make any forms of idols, even to represent the Kodesh Baruch Hu, because you didn't see any form in Bayar Sinai. Hashem didn't come out in any form, so you're not going to make any form. You're not going to make any Tavnis called Tzipor Kanaf. You're not going to make any form of a bird flying. So my love, Tzipor, the word Tzipor teaches us Bein Tahar Bein Tamei. Both includes kosher and non-kosher. And Kanaf, the word Kanaf includes Chagovim, meaning not only birds, but also anything that flies, like grasshoppers that fly. So that's what Kanaf is coming to teach you. So meaning if that's the way we explain the pasuk, that means that Tzipor would be referring to both Tar and Tamei. It says more like Tzipor Tahar. The word Tzipor alone would have just teach us Tar. Kanaf, it says Tzipor Kanaf to teach you Tamei v'Chagavim, which means we're saying you have no proof to say that Tzipor is only Tar. Maybe it's that it's Tamei. Maybe it's only Tar. Okay, Toshima Achayo Chola Behema Remes v'Tzipor Kanaf. Right, the pasuk into Hillel. They're all praise Hashem. Right? Again, the same thing was my tzipor kanaf, my lav tzipor ben tar ben tamei, v'kanaf chagovim, and kanaf means chagovim, but tzipor really does include everything. So more like tzipor means tahar, and kanaf is to include tamei v'chagovim. Tashim kol tzipor kol kanaf, the same thing. The Gemara is going to ask from this pasuk is by Noach. Yeah, when Noach he had to bring all different birds. So he says, "Kol tzipor, kol kanaf." My lav kidim akshinon. My lav the word tzipor includes tamei and tahor, like we asked, like kidim akshinon, like we answered. So instead of saying the whole thing out, the Gemara is just quickly zoom. My lav kidim akshinon, like we asked, like kidim akshinon. Tashma the atab ben adam emor le tzipor kol kanaf. The pasuk in Yechezkel. Also Hashem says. Tzipor kol kanaf, says the Gemara. My love kidim akshinon. That tzipor is both tar and tamei. Also like kidim akshinon. Okay. Toshima uvan pohi yidurun, and in its limbs, in basically we're talking about here. It's a pasuk from Daniel. It's discussing a big tree. It's talking about a huge tree. Probably, I think it's a mashal for the Nebuchadnezzar or something. Either way, it was one of the dreams. They had a big tree, and in the branches of Anpohi, in its branches, Yidurun Tzipore Shmaya. The Tziporim of the Shemayim of heaven will live there. Yidurun means in Lashon Dar, right? So Uvanpohi Yidurun Tzipore Shmaya. Says the Gemara. Does this not, the Gemara is saying, does this not include all types of birds, not only kosher species? We're talking about a big tree, and so only kosher species go into the tree? No, all types of species go into a huge tree. So tzipor must include non-kosher birds too. So the Gemara, no, tzipor shmaya ikri. You're right. If you say tzipor shmaya, that might include even non-kosher birds. That's more inclusive, but tzipor stam, you won't call the kosher bird tzipor stam, just tzipor. That lo yikru. Oh, not kosher birds, right? You wouldn't call non-kosher birds stam tzipor, only kosher birds. Okay, Tashima called tzipor tehira. Pasuk says you only allowed to eat kosher birds. Called tzipor tehira techelu. Right? So why it says the Gemara? Why do you have to say tehira? Right? Called tzipor tehira. Michlal diket mei. It sounds like. If you would have said tzipor, I might have thought you said tamei, right? Meaning, which tziporim tahiris? Sounds like a tzipor could be tamei. Says the Gemara loy, michlal deika asura. We can learn from here not that a tamei is included, but we can learn out from here that there's a tzipor that's asur. which tziporim are aser, meaning we're still only talking about the kosher species. But we mean one of them it's aser that became aser. How did it become aser? My eat treifa. If it's treifa, behed yaksi. We learn at beferish pasuk that a bird that's treifa is aser to eat. So why do you have to tell me tahira and not treifa? And if we're talking about an animal b'shchuta de mitzayra, that after you shecht one of the birds of the mitzayra, they're also bahana now. The mitzayra has if the part of the ritual is with the bird, and when you shecht that bird, now it's right away it's also bahana. So that's what the pasuk is talking about. Tahira meaning kol tzipor tahira teichelu tahira, but the ones that are asuras, there are tzipors that are from a kosher species, but they're considered asur. Why? Because they're from the mitzayra. The mitzayra shechted, it becomes asur ba'ana. Says the Gemara, miseifa. So if that's what it's talking about, miseifa tikronaf. But we know already. We also know that from the end of the pasuk, because it says v'zasher loy toichelu mehem. We learn that from those words. It's like an introductory clause to the oifas that are not kosher. It says v'zasher loy toichelu mehem. Why do you need this whole introduction? The rabbis shchutas mitzayra. It's to include this what we just said, shchutas mitzayra. La'olam says the Gemara, v'shchuta de mitzayra. Must be talking about shchuta de mitzayra. V'lavar olav b'asei v'lo yisasei. We want you to be over also in an asei. From the other pasuk of Zesha lo techlu mihem we have a lo yisasei, and over here also from the fact that it says tahira v'lo yasura, right? V'lo shchuta de mitzayra. That teaches you'll be over asei and lo yisasei. Okay, says more of a lukma b'treifa. We should say it's a treifa. V'lavar of b'asei v'lo yisasei. Meaning, why don't we just keep it as treifa? You said we know already that an oif treifa is also okay. So let's just add an asei. Use this kol tzibor tartachil to add an asei. Why do you have to change it? It says Gemara, the lukma b'treifa v'lavar of b'asei v'lo yisasei. Says Gemara, davar alamid me'inyanai. We're talking about. We should learn from the context. Meaning, there's a klal that we have that we learn from context, right? So davar alamid me'inyana. It's something that's learned from its inyan, from the inyan that's around it. Uvinyana d'shchuta ksiv. And where is this? Where is the pasuk called tzibor tahara techelu? That is talking about shchutas, right? How do you eat any bird when it says called tzibor tahara techelu? It means if you shecht it, right? So too over here, we're talking about if we're gonna talk about an animal, if we're gonna contrast kol tzibor tahara techelu to a different animal that you can't eat, must be we're talking about a case of shchita, because the whole context is the inyan of the whole context over here is shchuta, and a treifa doesn't really have shchita. This is one of the places you see that it's not pshat that it's a good shchita and the animal happens to be treifa. It's the treifa messes up the shchita. Like the fact that the animal's treifa, it's a psul in the shchita. Whatever, it's an interesting havana over here. But the Gemara is saying that if an animal is treif and you shecht it, that doesn't fit into the formula of the pasuk, because the pasuk is talking about animals that were shechted, right? And if your animal is treif, then it wasn't really shechted. So therefore, we're saying no, it's going to be talking about a mitzayra that you shechted, and over there's going to be an extra asay, not by treifa, because the context is talking about shchuta. So mitzayra that's shechted, even though it's aser, but no, that's because it's like a hekdesh type of, because it was part of the process of mitzayra, so it's aser, but no, but avada, it's a good shchita. It's a good shchita. It just happens to be aser ba'ana. When an animal's treif, it's mamish not a good shchita. Okay. Okay. Toshima. Shetei tziporim chayos. This is again the pasuk by Mitzayra that says, right? V'tziva kohen v'lokach shtei tziporim chayos. He has to take 2 live birds. Well, what's chayos? What does chayos mean? Lav shechayos v'ficha, not that they're allowed to live in your mouth, right? Chayos meaning they're like roi. They're roi to be in your mouth. So you see that michlal deika, the lav chayos v'ficha, they're ones that are not, right? They're not allowed to be in your mouth. Meaning the same type of dik, which we're still tzipor should. You see, tzipor includes even non-kosher birds, because it says tzipor
chayos, and chayos means that you're allowed to eat it, right? Chayos beficha, so that means that you could have a tzipor that's not chayos beficha. Otherwise, just say tzipor, right? Right. The Gemara says, "Loi, my chayos." That's not what chayos means. Chayos means shechayin roshay ivaron shalem, that all the tips of all the heads of their limbs are healthy, right? That's to exclude a treifa. No, the Rashi says lemutich mechusaris ever. That if it's missing a limb, it's disqualified from Taras Mitzvah. That's what it means. Shechayin roshay ivarim shalem. Okay, Tashim Ami Seifa. Tohiros Seifa from that same pasuk. It says it's Shetei Tzipurim Chayois Tohiros. Right, so Tohiros Michlal Dikat Tmeis. It's the same thing. Why are you calling it Tohiros? Must be the Tmeis, right? It says Michlal Dikat Treifus. You see that there could be Treifus, meaning again, tzipor for sure means only kosher species. So why are you telling me Tohiros? Tahar and not Treifa. Michlal Dikat Treifa, right? A kosher bird could be called a Treifa if it's a kosher species. If it's a Treifa, it's called a tzipor. So it says more treifas mechayis nafka. We know already. We have the pasuk that says chayis. They have to be chayis for sure means living, right? We even said it means that all their limbs are intact, right? But chayis means for sure living. So treifas mechayis nafka. Why do you have to? Why did Torah tell me tohiras to exclude treifa, right? You know it already from the word chayis. Chayis for sure excludes treifa. Says the Gemara because says the Gemara hani lamad amar treifa chaya. You're right. This is you're okay according to Madam who holds that a treifa lives. This is machlokes with the treifa is chaya and a chaya, which basically means the one that holds treifa and a chaya holds that the animal is going to die within a year. That's what if it has one of these treifas, it's going to die within a year. The other one holds it's going to die, but not within a year. So it's basically the fact that it's alive, the fact that it's going to die is not so essential to the definition of treifa, according to the mandam of treifa chaya. Right? So the Gemara is saying that according to mandam of treifa chaya, you can't use the word chayos to exclude treifa, because the treifa does live. Right? Treifa does live, treifa chaya. Right? So according to him, we need the word taharis. According to mandam Omar, the treifa takas einachaya, it doesn't live. So from the word chayos, we know already to exclude treifa. So what do you need the word taharis? Ma'ikal. The Emar says the Gemara v'oid. Bein the Ma'ad Omar Treifa Chaya, Bein the Ma'ad Eina Chaya, according to both Ma'ad Omim, Miditana the BeiRav Shmuel Nafka. We know this already from Tana the BeiRav Shmuel that you cannot have a treifa by a mitzvah. Meaning, you're telling me you need the word tahara not to exclude non-kosher birds, because non-kosher birds are excluded already when you said tzipor. You need taharas to exclude treifa. We know that already. We know that a treifa bird is not good for mitzvah. Why? Tana the BeiRav Shmuel. It says machshir u'mechaper. Not really. It says there's really two different types of korbanos. There's a machshir and there's a mechaper. Machshir is a korban that is part of a taira process. Like a woman, in order to become tar, to eat kachim, to go to the Beis HaMikdash, she has to bring, after she's a yeledah, she has to bring a korban. That korban is not called a mechaper; he's calling it a machshir, because it's machshir her. It makes her kosher in a certain sense, right? It makes her ro'ui for something now. It purifies her. Mitzvah bird is also a machshir, right? So he's going to compare different machshir and mechaper, right? A mechaper is just a regular korban that's mechaper for a chet, right? So never machshir mechaper b'fnim, never machshir mechaper b'chutz. There are types of machshirim and mechaper b'fnim, right? This type is korbanos b'fnim, meaning in the Beis HaMikdash. On the Mizbeach, there are machshirim and mechaperim. The name are machshirim and mechaper b'chutz, and there are also types of kombanos that are machshirim and mechaperim but are b'chutz. What's a machshir b'chutz? The mitzvah, right? Because the ritual of the mitzvah is not in the Beis HaMikdash. He sends it off, right? He sends off one of the birds, the other one he keeps, but it's not in the Beis HaMikdash. It's b'chutz. Mechaper, where the mechaper b'chutz is also by the seir of Ishtalech La'azazel. That's also being mechaper. On Yom Kippur, when they send the seir, that's also outside, right? So he's going to make a hegesh. Never machshir b'chaper b'fnim, never machshir b'chaper b'chutz. Ma machshir b'chaper b'omer b'fnim. Also, by machshir ke mechaper, the halacha is that the machshir and the mechaper have the same dinim inside. That he's saying all the dinim that all the types of kashrus for the korbanos inside. It doesn't make a difference whether you're mechasher or whether you're a machsher, whether you're a mechaper. Both of them have the same dinim. That a treifa is possible, and it has to be the right species, and it has to be the right age.
This is both of them now you put
Right. And it's pasha. It's pasha. You don't even have to say that. Why? Because they're really both korbanos. They go into mizbeach, so they have the same halachas. Whether they're a machsher or a mechaper, it doesn't make a difference because it's going on the mizbeach, right? But he's learning from that. Ma machsher mechaper omer fnim asu by machsher ke mechaper. They're equal korbanos. So too af machsher mechaper omer bachus asu by machsher ke mechaper. So too the machsher and mechaper that are said outside, that you have to do outside, meaning the tires mitzayra and the sir mishtaleach. Those two things are also going to be equal in the sense of treifa, that a seira mishtalech cannot be treifa. Now, how do we know seira mishtalech cannot be treifa? So we're saying the mechaper b'chutz, which is the seira mishtalech, can't be treifa. Therefore, we learn from there that so too the machshir b'chutz, which is the tziparim of the ar, also can't be treifa. The seira mishtalech is not allowed to be treifa because the halacha is when you do the girl in Yom Kippur, right? You have the two seirim,
right?
And then you do the girl echad laHashem and echad laZoza, right? Now the echad la, the one that ends up being laHashem can't be a treifa because no korban is allowed to be a treifa, right? So therefore, before you even pick them, they both can't be treifas because they both have to potentially be laHashem.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the seir mishtaleach is also to be treifa. Just like that's also to be treifa, so too the machshir b'chutz, which is the mitzayra, the tires mitzayra also can't be treifa. Right. He's just learning out, just like inside the machshir and mechaper is the same, so too the outside when we find machshir and mechaper it's the same. Okay, either way the Gemara is stuck. The Gemara is saying, alright, we know already that by mitzayra treifa is disqualified. What it's trying to say is to exclude a tzipor from an ir nidachas. Let's say near nidachas, the halacha is everything there is asur b'hana. It's asur b'hana. So now you're not allowed to use that for you're not allowed to use that for the mitzvah is not allowed to use it, right? Because near nidachas, meaning taharos, you should take shtei tziporim chayos taharos. What does taharos teach me? To exclude an animal that you're not allowed to use because asur b'hana because it came from an ir nidachas. Says the Gemara lemai. Which bird do you want to use it? The mitzvah has two birds. One bird takes shtei, one he shechts, and one he sends. So if you want to send that one, says the Torah would never say shalach l'takola. The Torah would never say send it away, right? And then your friend is gonna find it, right, and eat it, right? You can't do that. Once you have a tzipor that's asur, you're not allowed to send it off. It's asur. You're going to cause someone else to be nichshal and getting hana from a bird from the nidachas. If you have it, you can't send it away. Ela l'shchita. Says the Gemara, must be talking about the shchita. Meaning, I would think that I'm allowed to, if I have a bird of near nidachas, I'm allowed to shecht it for my mitzvah ritual for my bird that I need to shecht. Says the Gemara, no, you're not. It says the pasuk taharis, no, it has to be tar, not from your nidachas. Okay, Rava Amar, the lemute to exclude shelo l'zavig lo acheres koydem shilucheh. It's coming to tell you that you shouldn't pair it up with another mitzvah's birds. Meaning, let's say there's one mitzvah, right, and he has his birds, and now you want to reuse the birds for the next mitzvah, right? So that's what it's telling you. The word tahiris.
Would you want to do that? Who would think to reuse sorry.
But
It's the second time for another mitzvah.
Right, you want to use this. You want to use it for the second time in the same mitzvah. The Gemara is going to ask on it, but so basically, what Rav is saying, the word taharas teaches you it has to be tahar, not ones that are, like we said, not ones that are asur. What's going to be asur to reuse a bird? Now it says the Gemara, right? So that's what he's saying. Rav lemute shalel zav gulacheres. You know what? You shouldn't pair it up with another bird before you send it off. Lamai says the Gemara. Ila shchita. if you want to use it for shchita, meaning the first mitzvah shechted one bird, right? And then the second bird he had, kosher bird, right? Regular bird, he had it, now he has to be mishalech, right? Now you want to reuse the second one for what? For shchita of the second guy? No, then you have, the first guy is not going to be yaitze shiluach, right? The first guy has to be yaitze one bird to be mishalech. And if the second mitzvah is going to take that and shecht it, so then, right, ilish shchita, if he's going to shecht it, habayi shiluach, no, there's a chiyuv for the first guy to send it off. Ella says the Gemara, no, ella l'shiluach. Meaning, if you want to use the one to resend it, meaning you have one mitzvah, he shechted the first word, and then the second word he's about to send it off, and you say, no, let me take it, I'll use it, and I'll send it off for both of us, right? Says the Gemara, no, that doesn't work. Okay, either way, Tahiris is not coming to exclude non-kosher. Tzipor is not coming to exclude non-kosher birds. Okay, Rav Papa. Either way, Tzipor is coming to exclude non-kosher birds, and Tahiris isn't needed for that. Tahiris is needed for this. Tahiris is coming to exclude, not to pair up another. Baby Tmeis, not Oifas Tmeis. Right. Okay. Rav Papa Amar. We're talking about the Tziporim Shechlifu B'Avodah Zarah. If, let's say, you took Avodah Zarah, you have something that was nevad. Let's say you bow down to something, whatever. Someone's Avodah Zarah, he sells that Avodah Zarah, he takes that money and buys a tzipor. Right, so that's going to be asur because it's toifas damin, but even the money becomes, if you sell Avodah Zarah, the money becomes asur, and then everything you buy with that money becomes asur. So that's what's coming to tell you. It's the Avodah Zarah, and we take out Shechlifu b'Avodah Zarah. It says Kerem kamayu. It says by Avodah Zarah that you're going to be Kerem. Kerem means like asur, right? It's asur. Everything becomes asur. So everything that you exchange with Avodah Zarah becomes asur. Kol ma she'ata mehaya himenu kamayu. Anything that you make from the Avodah Zarah, that you get from the Avodah Zarah, is also kamayu. It's also like it's asur b'anos. So therefore, if you sell Avodah Zarah, it's fine. Lemai says the Gemara. What are we talking about? Again, the same issue. If you mean the Torah is trying to tell me, don't take a bird that you bought with my Avodah Zarah and what? And send it, use it for the one to send it. Torah never say you should take the bird which is now asur b'ano because you exchanged it for Avodah Zarah, right? So the Torah never say shlach l'takala. Ela l'shchita. Must be talking about the shchita one. You think you can be able to shecht it? Says the Gemara no. Ravina Amar. We're talking about an oif sheharagas hanefesh, an oif that killed someone. So in that situation, the Torah is saying you're not allowed to use, even though it's a kosher species, right? But you're not allowed to use it because it killed someone. If it was nigmar hadin, same sister. Right, we had the same. Right back. So if it was nigmar hadin, so you have to kill it. Of course you won't be able to use it. Ella says the Gemara koydem mardina. We're talking about koydem mardin. The koydem mardin, it wasn't already decided in Bezdin that you have to kill it, so maybe you'll be able to use it. Ulamai says the Gemara ilashiluach. If you're going to send it away, you can't send it, right? If the Torah means, if you think you want to send it away, you can't do that because you have to bring. You have a chiyuv, right? We also said yesterday before, even before there's a gemar din. But since you know that this animal killed someone, you have a chiyuv to bring it to Bezdin, and be mekayim would be arta ramikir bechel, right? So you can't be mishaleach it, right? If you would never think you could be mishaleach a bird that killed someone, right? Ella the Gemara says l'shchita, meaning I might think that avad I'm not going to send it away, but there was no mardin yet. Maybe I'll use it for my mitzvah and for my mitzvah ritual, and I'll shecht it. I'm killing it anyway. Who cares, right? So let me shecht it anyways. It says Gemara. That's why comes the pasuk and says taharas, and you use tahara animals and not oif sheharagas hanefesh. That's also to use. Okay, we'll stop here. and we'll be mamshich. So oif tamei roivitz al beitzei oif tahor. Right? So bishlam oif tamei says the Gemara roivitz al beitzei oif beitzei tahor. But in tzipor v'lek. You need tzipor. Tzipor is tahor. Right? So this is a not kosher bird. Ella oif tahor roivitz al beitzei oif tamei. How about if you have a kosher bird that's sitting tzipor? It's a tzipor, so therefore it should be chayiv. Rav Kana said that when the pasuk says "V'sabonim tikach loch," right? It says for you. So if the beitim are not kosher, you have to give it to the dogs, right? You can't eat it. So therefore, that's now the Torah exempted you in that case. It means in a case where you can take it for yourself. Also over here we're going to say tikach loch. The Rav Kana, where the Rav Kana actually says, if the mother is treif, the mother bird is treif. If the Freichim treif is your pater mishluach. How do you know this? He says also the same thing. You have to be able to take it for yourself. If the birds are if the kids are treif, then you can't eat it. You have to send it over to the dogs. Therefore, you're pater.
So you said it by shluach, not by treif.
By treif. So we're extending it to say also by oif tam. Now, to me, I just don't understand why we don't say simply it's not aim. It's not the mother, right?
That's right. It's a surrogate.
Right. It's a different. I don't know. The Gemara doesn't seem to say that.
Because that's a good right. Aim could be doesn't have to necessarily be biological.
Oh, you bring a right that surrogate motherhood is.
Cold mother. That's a shame.
So we just did another few lines. The Gemara said that that we know that if in oif tamei which is disqualified. That's what we said. It's talking tzipor star. Now we're talking about how about if the beitim are tamei. The Gemara says over there, you're putter because it says it's abonim tikach loch for you. Not if it's not kosher, you can't eat it. You have to give it to the dogs. So therefore, you're putter. So now the Gemara says. The more brother of Kana also said that treif, that if the freichim or the beitim are treif, the freichim, I don't know if the beitim are treif, but the freichim are treif, also you're patur because you can't take it, you have to you give it to the dogs. It says tikach loch. Now the Gemara is asking, but if the aim is treifa, if the mother's treifa, then you are chayiv. On kosher chickens and the mother's treif, you are chayiv. So the Gemara of the lukish, it's really bad here, so you should say v'nukish, v'nakish, it changes v'lakish, v'lakish, we don't see the word. Let us be makish and aim treifa to the Ephraim, right? Because they're right next to each other in the pasuk. My Ephraim treifa spatter, just like my Ephraim, we learned that if it's treifa spatter mishiluach, af aim treifa nami pater mishiluach. So Gemara im kain tzipor lemute oif tami lamali. If so, why would you need the word tzipor to exclude oif tami? Meaning, if you're extending the drasha of lecha, it has to be for you, even to the mother. So then, of course, non-kosher birds you can't eat, right? So it must be from the fact that the Torah says tzipor to teach you not kosher birds. Not kosher birds are out. Must be. It doesn't have to be right for you to eat by the mother. It means we don't extend the halacha of lecha v'leiluk from Ephraim to the mother. Okay. So therefore, if aim treifa says the Gemara v'atanya aim efroyach treifa, you have to change the gears to aim efroyach. Otherwise, the Gemara doesn't make sense. Aim efroyach treifa. If the mother is treifa chayav. Aim efroyach, aim of an efroyach is that's treifa is chayav mishulach. There's a brisa that's contradicting what Rav Kana said, right? Because Rav Kana said that if the efroyach is treif, your potter over here he's saying it's chayav. This is what it means. Efroyach, iman treifa. Treifa is not going on the efroyach. Treifa is going on the mother. The mother's treif, then you're chayav mishulach. Okay, good. BeiRav Hoshea. So Rav Hoshea asks, Hoshit yodai likan. If you stick your hand into the kan, v'shachat misimanim, and you shechted the efroichim a little bit miyotzimanim, you didn't finish the shchita. It was a halfway shchita. Ma'al me'amrin and cave in the Yerushaviklu. Do we say since if you would leave it right now, mitzvah if you would become treif, you would not finish the shchita, right? It would be treif. Therefore, it's ba'inan lechavlei klavecha. We need it to be able to be kosher for you and not for your dogs, and therefore in that situation, you would be pater from shiluach, and you're allowed to grab the mother. You're allowed to take the mother. Or, since it's in his hand to finish the shchita, it's called, you can take it, and it's chayav b'shulach. Basically, this guy is a trickster. The way Rashi explains is he wants the mother and the chickens. Now, how do you technically get out of all of these issues? He says like this: I'll shecht it. Right, I'll shecht it miyut simanim. And now the halacha is, oh, it's treif, it's going to die now, right? It's still treif. So therefore, once the freichim are treif, I'm allowed to pocket the mother, because we said that if the freichim are treif, there's no mitzvah shiluach. Right, so what's he going to do? He's going to pocket the mother, and then he's going to finish the shechita. And then he's be able to take the freichim too. Right, but so the question is does that trick work? Because since you're miyut simanim, so it's a puzzle of shechita. If you leave it right now and they die,
Therefore, I can take the mother.
therefore now you can take
the shechita.
Right.
Everything is fine.
Right. So the shah is like this: do we say that since right now, if you leave it at this situation, they're going to die, they're going to be treif, right? Therefore, I can now take the mother. Or we say no, since you can shecht it in the future, and you will shecht it in the future, right? So therefore, right now you're still chayav b'shiluach ha'im, even though you're taking the mother before it was fully shechted. So that's what he wants to do. Says the Gemara, take it. Okay. BeiRav Yomi asks a different child. If you have a handkerchief, is it going to be chaytzis? The Torah says, it has to be laying on the eggs, right? So now let's say there's a chatzitza, let's say there's a cloth in between. So is that considered a chatzitza or not? How about if there's feathers, if there were loose feathers that were not attached to the bird, obviously, but if there were loose feathers, are they going to be a chatzitza? Maybe that's even less of a chatzitza because it's like feathers, it's part of the bird. It's a type of, it's min b'mina, like beitzim muzaros mahu. Oh, let's say you have, the Mishnah says that beitzim muzaros are unfertilized eggs, that they cannot form into a chick. So that, in that situation, you're part of Kishluach HaKan. It has to be fertilized by a male in order for the beitzim to be able to sprout into an actual chick, and then you'll be chayav. So let's say you have beitzim muzaros that are being chaytzitz on top, the mother's laying on beitzim muzaros, and under the beitzim muzaros is the real beitzim that you would be chayav. Right? So is that a chatzitza or not? Shnei sidrei beitzim zu al gavzu mahu. Right? Even if you want to tell me that beitzim muzaros are a chatzitza, how about if you have two beitzim muzaros, two regular beitzim, two rows of regular beitzim, and you're taking from the bottom row, right? So maybe the top row is being chaytzitz between, even though they're all regular eggs that are being chayav. Huh? They're all chayav, right? But is it considered that the mother's laying even on the bottom ones, or no? She's only laying on the top row and not the bottom row, so it should be fine. Pushing it, huh? Okay. Zachar al gabi beitzim. If there's a zachar, we'll see in the next mission that zachar is pater. If the father, if it's not the mother, if the father is sitting on the eggs, you're pater. But how about if the zachar is al gabi beitzim, unikeva al gabi zachar? So the nikeva is sitting on top of the zachar. Is that considered sitting on top of the beitzim, or the zachar is in between? Since the father is in between, the mother's sitting on the father's on the eggs, and the father's maybe chaytzitz. Take off. Okay. BeiRav Zera asks, Yoina, if you have a dove al beitzei tassel. Tassel is also another type of kosher bird. So let's say we have a yoina sitting on a tassel, on a tassel's eggs. So now it's not the mother, right? But they're both kosher species, kosher eggs and kosher mother, but it's not its own eggs. So what's the halacha in that situation? Mahu. Or tassel, or the same thing the opposite. You have a tassel al beitzei yoina mahu. Same thing, right? Amar Abaye tashema oif tameh. The Mishnah had said, if you have an oif tameh, that's right, it's al beitzei oif tahor. Not kosher bird, that's right, it's on kosher birds. Or tahor, v'tahor, right, it's al beitzei oif tameh. The opposite of kosher bird that's laying on non-kosher eggs. In that situation, you're patur mishulach. So the Gemara, only in that extreme situation, not tahor v'tahor chayav. But if both are tahor, then you are chayav. Right? It's only if one of them is not kosher. But if both are kosher, it's just a different species, then it's mashma you are chayav. Says the Gemara, no, maybe this diuk that you have only applies to a kaira. You can see that a kaira is a type of bird. I don't know exactly which type of bird, but it's a type of bird that does weird type of things with the laying. And therefore, maybe in that situation, for that animal, it's the derech to lay on other birds. It's a derech to lay on even not their own birds. So in that situation, you would be chayiv in shluach hakan, even though it's sitting on a different species. Partridge.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge. Okay, I have to look it up. See exactly. But so either way, we're saying. No. Okay.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Okay. So either way, the Gemara is saying that maybe your dik holds true that avada it's kosher, but only by a kaira. Kaira, only by that bird. That's the derech for it to sit on other species. Okay, kaira zachar. We said in the Mishnah that the kaira zachar, if you have a male kaira, a male partridge, right? Rabbi Eliyahu Raful. So in that situation, Rabbi Eliyahu holds that even though it's male, usually it has to be an aim, right? Because fathers don't sit on the right. We're saying no, that Rabbi Eliyahu Amar Bavo says Bavo, my time with Rabbi Eliyahu. What's the reasoning of Rabbi Eliyahu? Why is he hold that a zachar is by a kaira is chayav? It says the Gemara asks you degir. He learns degir. Degira means laying. I think that's what it means. It means like you're laying on the
Gathering.
It means gathering.
Gathering and gathering.
Uh-huh.
The male partridge gathers the young, it did not bear.
Uh-huh. Okay, I thought it meant like actual laying. Oh, so the pasuk. Right, so that's the pasuk that he brings. Ask you degir. Zigzer shava degir. Siv hacha kaira dagar v'lo yalad. A kaira, either he gathers the chickens, right? Gathers the eggs and then sits on them, right? V'lo yalad, even though he didn't actually give birth to them, right? The pasuk is saying, someone who makes wealth without justice is as if he's gathering eggs and laying on eggs that aren't his, right? Yeah, and then it says, "B'chatzi yom of yazvenu," he's going to die young of acharisa yenovo. It's one of the haftaras. So either way, we learn here kaira dag v'lo yalad. So you see that the kaira gathers eggs that aren't its own. That's another pasuk that's Stam talking about. A kippah is a type of bird that's dagra, right? So that in that pasuk, in the second pasuk, when we say that this bird is daiger, it's daiger its own, right? It collects its own bird. So that's the regular degira. So we learn from there, just like over there, there's regular degira. Also by the first pasuk of dagar, kaira dagar v'lo yalad, it's a regular normal thing for a dagar to take eggs that are on its own, right? So Rabbi Eliezer says, you see here that a kaira who's a zachar, right? It's a regular behavior to sit on birds, to sit on eggs even though they're not its own. So this is also true by a zachar. That's what he learns from here. Okay. Amar Belazar, machlokes b'kaira zachar. Says Rabbi Belazar, machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer is by a kaira zachar. Everyone agrees by Karna Keva that you're chayav. Even the Chachamim agree that by Karna Keva, you're chayav, meaning you're chayav even if it's sitting on the other eggs. That even on not its own species, right? We said the Kaira's exception is that even if it sits on other species, it's chayav. Now Chachamim hold that's only by Nekeva, and Rabbi Elazar holds even by a zachar. Pshita says Gemara, Kaira zachar tanan. It says zachar. It says Gemara Madu Tevina. I would think Rabbanan afilu Kaira nekeva pachu. Rabbanan even hold by Kaira nekeva you're pater if it's sitting on other birds. It's not its own bird, right? V'aduk tani zachar, and this that it says zachar to tell you to show Rabbi Elazar's extreme opinion that even zachar he's mechayev. Kamash Malan no. Kamash Malan Rabbi Elazar. That the machlokes is only by Kaira Zachar, and Chacham agree by Nekeva. The Amar Rabbi Elazar also says that the machlokes is only by Kaira Zachar, the Zachar the Alma, but in a regular Zachar Divrei Kol Pater, a different species, not a Kaira, everyone agrees that the Zachar that sits on the eggs is Pater. Pshita says the Gemara Kaira Zachar Tanan. It's only Kaira. Says the Gemara Mad the same Rabbi Elazar afilu Zachar the Alma M'chayiv. I would think maybe Rabbi Elazar holds even a regular Zachar. Why do you talk about Kaira? Zachar, the Rabbanan, even by Kaira, you're part of Kamash Malan. No, Kamash Malan, Chachamim, Rabbi Elazar only holds Zachar here. Tani Nami Hachi, Zachar the Alma Pater. Everyone agrees that Zachar the Alma is Pater. Kaira Zachar, only with that, then Rabbi Elazar M'chayiv Chachamim Pater. So you see beferish that the first clause of that brisa is that everyone agrees that Zachar the Alma is Pater. Okay. If the bird was not mamash laying on the eggs, it was floating, it was flying, it was fluttering on top of the eggs. If her wings, her feathers, whatever are touching the cane, you're chayav, the shaleach. Even though it's fluttering, right? Because it's fluttering, but if it's not touching the cane, you patam l'shaleach. How about if it says pasuk says efraychim or beitzim, right? How about if there's only one efrayich? Ein sham ela efrayich echad or beitz achas. Still chayav l'shaleach. Why should never cane mikol makom? Doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, as long as it's a nest, you're chayav even if it's only one egg or one chick. If the Efraichim were already floating around. They already had wings. They were able to fly. Oy beitzim muzaros, or beitzim that cannot, right, unfertilized eggs that cannot grow into regular beitzim. Then your chicks patum l'shalech. Also, then you patum l'shalech. How do you know that? Shenemar v'ayim ravetzes alo Efraichim ayala beitzim. Why do you need both Efraichim and beitzim? Ma Efraichim b'nei kayama. Just like Efraichim will grow and become birds and will live. Af beitzim b'nei kayama. So too the beitzim have to be able to live, right? So if Yatsu muzaras. So muzaras can't live. They can never grow into a chicken. Uma beitzim tzrichen imam, and just like beitzim still need their mother, right? Because they need to be laid on in order to grow. After freichim, the only type of freichim we're talking about, if they're still tzrichen imam, yatsu mafreichim. But if they're already flying, they're too mature already, then you would be patur from the roch hakan. Right? Okay. Tanrabanan. Roivetzes v'loy ma'ifefes. The pasuk says roivetzes. It has to mamish be, laying in it. V'loy ma'ifefes. Not if it's floating on top. Yochel afilu knefei hanoges b'kan. I would think, so if it's flying, it's not good. Maybe even if it's touching. Tamalem roivetzes. No, it's still called roivetzes. My tell him, what does the Gemara? How do you see from the word roivetzes that if it's touching the kan, it's still called roivetzes? It says the Gemara midleksiv yesheves. It doesn't say yesheves. Yesheves would mean mamish has to be sitting on it, right? And so we learn out roivetzes is sort of in between. As long as it's touching, it's called roivetzes, even if it is fluttering on top. Okay. Amar Rabbi Eliyahu Raful. If it was sitting between two branches, like let's say on a fork, and then the mother is laying like this on top of the branches, and then under it is the nest. So Haisa Yesheves bein shnei rav deilin, in between two branches, royim. We see like this. Kol she'im tishamet, if the branch falls, then the mother would fall right on top of the birds. Then chayiv l'shalech. Then it's considered roivetzes, even though there's a branch being mafsek, even though she's a little elevated, right? Still chayiv l'shalech.
Even though it isn't touching.
Right, even though it's not touching. Chayiv l'shalech. V'im lav pater. Right, so that's what Rabbi BeiRav said. That if it would not fall on top, if it's not directly on top, it wouldn't fall on top, then you're patum with the shalech. So now the Gemara is going to ask, like you said, it doesn't sound like it has to be touching. If the bird was sitting in between the eggs, not on top of the eggs, in between the eggs, patum with the shalech. Al gabein chayiv l'shalech. On top chayiv l'shalech. If it was fluttering on top, even though the knafayim are nagas bakain, pater l'shalech. Now it says pater, and the Mishnah said chayav. Right now it says pater. The Gemara is going to explain. The Gemara is going to explain that it means that if you're touching on the side, then you're pater. If you're touching on top, you're chayav. Okay, that's this last tira. The Gemara is going to ask me at the beginning of this brayta that says hoysu yisheres beineim pater l'shalech al gabein chayav. My lapse of the Gemara al gabein. When it says al gabein, it's dumya de beineim. Right? There's a contrast in the brayta between beineim and gabein. In between or on top, but the contrast is contrasting two very similar cases. My lav al gabein is dumya de beineim, ma beineim de nagabu. Just like when it's in between, even though it's touching, the mother is touching the birds, but it's not on top; it's on the side. So to af al gabein de nagabu. So to when it's on top, it has to be touching. It has to actually be touching. Aval raiv de ilan. But if it's not actually touching, if it's elevated a little bit on the top of the branches, you're pater. So it's more loy. No, that's not the way to be medayik in the right. Al gabein do the opposite. Ma beineim de loy nogo layu. Just like beineim, you're in between and you're not necessarily touching, right? You're just in between. Af al gabein, so too al gabein de loy nogo layu. Even if you're not touching actually. Behainu raiv de ilan.
Once you picked up the eggs already.
And must be this is the case of Rav De'ilan, meaning so says the Gemara, you have no diak, and maybe the Brayse is coming even to include that the case of Rav De'ilan, that you're elevated and you're not touching, you are still chayav. The Gemara says it makes sense. We can prove it. These are gadaitach Rav De'ilan patur. If you want to tell me the case of Rav De'ilan, you're patur. It's an aditani. Why would the Mishnah say the next case, if it's fluttering on top, even if the knafayim are touching, you're pater. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say lisni Rav De'ilan. You should say the case of Rav De'ilan. I mean, if the case of Rav De'ilan are pater, say the bigger chiddush, right? That even though it's on the Rav De'ilan, it's actually being roivit, right? I guess the understanding is like this. In our Mishnah we said, right, that if it's ma'ifefes, you're pater. right? So it sounds like you have to be touching, right? If it's touching, then you're chayev. So why is Rav De'ilam chayev? Right? How does that fit with the Mishnah? I guess the pshat is because even though me'ifefes is worse, when it's ma'ifef, when it's flying, when it's fluttering on top, it's not sitting on the eggs, right? So we're saying it has to be touching. If it's not touching, then it's patur, right? But when it's actually sitting on the Rav De'ilam, yes, it's elevated, right? Yes, it's elevated and it's not mamish touching it, but it is being ravetz, right? So it is better than the fluttering, because fluttering it's flying, so it happens to be touching, right? But it's not warming the eggs. It's not that action, that motherly action of laying on the eggs. It's fluttering away, right? So therefore, also over here we're saying if you're saying that the case of Rav De'ilam are patur, right? So then adatani hoysam ma'ifefes. Why are you telling me the lower chiddush of if it's flying, if I feel even if it's touching, I feel patur. Why? That's the lower chiddush, right? You should say even if it's actually laying on it, it's just on top a little bit, right? Listen, Rav De'ilam. Because you get my fefes, for sure if it's floating and not even being ravetz at all, right? Says the Gemara, no, ma'ifefes it's trichale. It needed to say ma'ifefes. Why? Because the afilu knafeh nages b'kein patur because they needed to tell me. I might think lamaisa, since it's touching, I would think it's chayev. Meaning, even if Rav De'ilam are patur, right? I would still think that since it's touching, would be chayev. Therefore, I need to teach me. That's a bigger chiddush. It is a bit. The Gemara is conceding. It is a bigger chiddush because lamaisa it's touching. Okay. Now, Nan says the Gemara. Didn't we say Bisman Shiknafen Nagas Beken Chayiv Stira? The Brisa says Potter if it's touching, and our mission is Chayiv L'Shem. Rabbi Yirmiyah Kitani Matznisa B'Nagiyah Min Atzad. The Matznisa that says you're Potter if it's touching from the side, but our mission is talking is touching on top. You're still Chayiv. Okay. Ikda Amri. Some say the same sugya, just the other way. Lema Messiah, Hoysu Yishavas B'Neim Potter. Lema Messiah, we should bring a proof to Rabbi Eliyahu Raful that said the Rav De'ilam you're Chayav, right? Lema Messiah, Hoysu Yishavas B'Neim Potter L'Shaleach. Right? If you're sitting in between Potter L'Shaleach, Al Gabein Chayav L'Shaleach. Hoysu Ma'afefes Afiluk Nafel Nagas B'Kein Potter L'Shaleach. That's the Brisa. My lav. Are we not talking about al gabein dumi debineim on top, just like in between? Ma bineim deloy nogolai. Just like bineim doesn't necessarily mean when you're actually touching. If you're in between your putter, af al gabein, also on top deloy nogolai, that you're not actually touching. V'hainu Rav De'ilam. That's the case of Rav De'ilam. Even though you're not actually touching, you're still going to be chayav. So this is a proof to Rabbi Eliyahu Raful. It's more loy. May disprove it. Al gabein dumi debineim. Al gabein is similar to bineim. Ma bineim denogabuhu. Just like in between is even if you do touch them. Afal Gabein is talking about the Nogabahu. You have to be touching. Aval Rav De'ilam Potter says the Gemara. It's the same steps backwards. Instead of saying the Seifa is my fefes, I feel like Nagus Bakain Potter. Why are you telling me that case of Nagus Bakain your Potter? You should tell me even the case of Lisni Rav De'ilam. Even in that case, your Potter when the mother is actually being Ravis, the Gemara says V'kolshken my fefes, and for sure the case when it's not even being Ravis, the Gemara says no my fefes is truchale. It needed to tell me my fefes. That feel like Nagus Bakain. It wanted to tell me the chiddush that even when it's actually touching, even though you're right, it's not being Ravis, still it's Potter L'Shaleh. In fact, the Gemara Vanan now the same steer between the Mishnah and the Brisa is Mashk Nafen Nagus Bakain Chayil L'Shaleach. Rabbi Yehuda Ki Katani Matznitzin. The Mishnah was talking about Minatzad, and the Brisa is talking about Minatzad. I should probably say Matznisa, right?
One of the Brisa teaches that bird flying above is exempt. The Mishnah where it refers to where the wings touch, and that's from above.
Right. I know, but we have the gear of Matznisa.
You change it to Matznisa.
They change it? Yeah. Right, it should be Matznisa. Because previously we had Matznisa. Right, Matznisa means Brisa.
Marsha and Agos Yaakov.
Right, okay. Let's just finish. Finish the Mishnah? You have time? Ein Sham Efroyach. What did we say? No, just to the Mishnah. Huh? Ein Sham Efroyach Ela Echot. Right? We said if there's one, the whole Brisa said we learn what we learn from Efroichim, what we learn from Beitzim, right? Cain teaches you even one bird, and then Efroichim and Beitzim teaches you that Efroichim need to have Bar Kayam and Beitzim need to be. Beitzim teaches you that it needs to be still needs the mother, right? It can't be independent. Why don't we say the diak is exactly like that? if there's only one Efraya, then you'd be Patim Shalech. Why? We should say that that's the proper way to read it. Efraychim Beitzim teach you that have to be more than one Efrayach or more than one Beitzah. If you only have one, it doesn't fit the pasuk. Hayusham Efraychim, and if Hayusham Efraychim Africhim Beitzim Muzarais, even if you have Efraychim that are Afriach, or even if you have Beitzim that are Muzarais, that can't grow, Chayiv l'Shaleach. You should be Chayiv l'Shaleach. Never Kain. Mikol Makom. Basically, he's asking that Kain is inclusive, right? Kain means any type of Kain, and Efraychim and Beitzim are exclusive. It's a miut, right? So who told you to include from Kain that even from Kan Tzipor that even one bird, and to exclude from Efraychim and Beitzim that they have to be premature and they have to be able to grow. Maybe Fakir Kain should include those, and Efraychim and Beitzim should exclude if there's only one. Says the Gemara, Im Kain nichtoiv kra v'oimrei vetzes aleihem. You should just say aleihem, meaning if, according to you, the only reason why it says Efraychim and Beitzim is to teach you that even that you need more than one bird, right? So just say aleihem. Why didn't you say Efraychim and Beitzim? Just say aleihem on them. Why does it actually separate between Efraychim and Beitzim? It must be there's something we're learning from Efrayach and something we're learning from Beitzim, right? The kushe Efraychim to Beitzim or Beitzim to Efraychim is to be makesh Efraychim to Beitzim and Beitzim to Efraychim. That we're learning an element from Efrayach and learning an element from Beitzim, right? If the only element we're learning is that it has to be more than one, so just say aleihem, right? Why do they have to say each one? It must be we're learning from there. And then oibazai, what does Cain teach you? Cain teaches you that it doesn't really need to be more than one bird, it can even be one. Okay. Fine, we'll stop here.
You want to do more? I mean, tomorrow is an awful lot.
Right, we gotta go.